Hello everyone, welcome back to Mystic Tides Tarot. This is the first week that I am doing 2 videos in 1 week. This is brand new for me, and that's another reason why today's video is being recorded on the same exact day that I'm posting it, which I don't really do. I usually record the night or day before and then have it uploading through the night because it takes forever to upload, and then it's posted on Fridays, depending, I guess, on your time zone. No, it would still be Friday pretty much anywhere now that I think about it. Anyways, let's get into your reading. First, take a moment and look at this gorgeous oracle. This is created by Threads of Fate. This is the Empyrean oracle. I don't know if they still have this or if their store is even still open because they were closing down and liquidating when I purchased. So yeah, let's get your 3 oracle cards out so that you could choose which pile is going to be for you. Okay, so for pile 1, we have Grip. Interesting. There's a snake on that, and Saturn is on this as well. Grip. Okay, second pile. Feeling this one. This is Mystery. I'm just trying to read it. At the same time, I'm trying to show you guys how beautiful this is. Okay, and then this one for pile 3. Breath. Okay, so we have for pile 1, Grip, for pile 2, Mystery, and for pile 3, Breath. Hello, pile 1. You chose the oracle card, Grip. Now, these cards are coming out before I even get to ask the question, so we're just going to leave them here. But I'm getting this message that you understand that you've been gripping onto something a bit too tightly, but you don't really know how to unclench, or you've been trying to, but old patterns take you back there. And let's try to figure out what this is about. So the Chariot. You're ready for movement, that's for sure. The Emperor, 2 major arcanas. 7 of Pentacles. So this tells me there's very much this need for control. We have the Emperor card here, and this can be read in a more like controlling type of energy, but it could also be read in someone who is so in control that they are not looking like if they are trying to hold on to control, because they have a control not just of what it seems like is the situation, but they have control over their emotions, their health, their mental health, their spiritual health, and their wealth. They are in control in the way that is healthy, not in a way that is toxic. So maybe that's something that you've tried to use as a bargaining chip before to continue to have a grip on things, because you feel that you can't just let it go or else everything's going to go to shit. And now, because you've been gripping on for so long and very tightly, it feels like things are going in that direction anyway. So you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, because it feels like, you know how they say, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And the thing is, it's not about these extremes where you hold on or everything goes to shit, or where you completely let go and never grab ever again. It's about this, I don't know anything about DJing or anything like that, but I'm getting this like picture in my mind of like the boards that I'm assuming it's called a DJ board. I don't even know what it's called. This is hilarious. But they have this little like sliding nodule thing, and that's what kind of like came into my mind's eye. Was it's this gradual shifting. It's not about a switch. It's not about on off. It's about just kind of moving it. You know, I guess I could have also said moving the needle, but you know, I'm sharing with you what comes in as it comes. And sometimes it makes a lot of sense to me and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on my life experience, obviously, and like what's relevant to me in my life. But anyways, the Chariot, the Emperor, these are major arcana cards. This is a big phase in your life. This is something that either has been going on for a long time or has been something that has been occupying your mind for a long time, or that you feel is going to be going on forever, because it is a big, whether it's being perceived as so or whether it actually is what is really kind of like up to you to confirm for yourself. But the Seven of Pentacles here tells me that it is very possible for you to be able to do that like shift without having to go into any extremes or flip any switches, but it's not without you having to work towards it and wait for the result. And I hate having to say that because I feel like it's very like obvious. It's maybe perhaps even redundant depending on what readings you've been listening to, whether they've been other readings of mine or maybe another reader, because I know as a participant in the YouTube tarot reading sphere, I also partake in watching other tarot readers, and I also receive messages from them in pick a card readings. So I know that sometimes if there's something that's going on for you that's really big and you watch multiple tarot readers, you might be getting a very similar message by everyone. And it's not that we all talk about the same thing, but it's because if it's very pertinent to you, it's that important that you really cement that knowledge and follow through with it. So we know you got to like release the grip, not let it go, okay? But just so that you're not like hurting yourself, basically. Like, you know, when you're grabbing onto something, so, or when you're clenching a fist, actually, you're grabbing onto it so tightly that you're getting like nail marks on the palm of your hand. We don't want you to have those nail marks. So what can we do to prevent that from happening or to stop that? Or, you know what can we do to help alleviate the need to hold on so tightly? That's what I think is what we need to know. 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands, and one more. Actually, this one too. 9 of Cups. Oh, that one's good. And the Hermit. Another major. Actually, let me scoot this up so you can see this better. Yeah, so what can we do? Right here, I feel like this is just like this confirmation of you have been holding on, carrying too much, and you're at the end of your rope. This is like that confirmation of you can't really keep this up for much longer anyway. Like you're holding on to, let's just say you're holding on to a bag. You're going to end up dropping that bag and everything that's in it is going to break, or it's going to fall out of the bag and get lost or misplaced. So your best choice right now is to loosen the grip a little, just so you don't cause this other thing to happen, because you are at the end of it. So either you're going to keep holding on to it until the last minute, or you're going to let go of it a little bit and you have some chance to recover. The 4 of Wands, this is a card of stability. It can also be seen as the card of celebration. So it's kind of like saying 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands. You got 10 wands on your back. You need to release the grip a little bit. Let go of a few of those wands on your back, because if you were to let go of, let's just use math here, if you were to let go of 6 wands and only hold on to 4 wands, then that's like the perfect amount that you can carry, and you can keep moving forward to get exactly where you want to be, especially in the emotional realm. Because a lot of the times we say we want this thing and then we get it, and emotionally we don't feel satisfied. So then it kind of makes you think, did I actually want that thing, or did I want the satisfaction that came with it, the emotional satisfaction? And the good thing about seeing the 9 of Wands here is that it's not about you're going to get this solid one thing. It's about where you're headed in this trajectory once you release some of this baggage, once you let go of that grip that you've been clenching, or you've been I'm really having a hard time wording this. Release a little bit of that grip is what I'm trying to say. And maybe I'm feeling this way too, and I'm feeling a little hot and flustered because that's how you're feeling receiving the message, or that's how you felt in the past when, you know, you felt that this is where you were stuck at. But yeah, once you release a little bit of that grip, you're going to get that emotional wish fulfilled. So let's just say that you thought you wanted to have a brand new car, and that's what you were working towards, right? this is the feeling that achieving that goal would give you. And that's what you're going to get when you learn to release that grip a bit and you carry only as much as you can in order to have the balance. And the balance isn't about what you're carrying as much as it is about how you carry it. And then this came out to me as like the advice, the Hermit card. It's like after you go through this and you have this beautiful moment and this emotional like peak, if you will, after going through this trial here, you're going to want to take some time to kind of let everything settle. And maybe here is when you'll be like, okay, I really don't need to be gripping on so tightly. I see why now. This is the lesson. And I've learned this much and I've grown this much. And now as I move forward, I'm taking this bit of knowledge or these nuggets of wisdom with me forever. Okay. And whether this is the last time you have to go through this lesson or not, you're never going to repeat it in the same way ever again because you will have like graduated. Okay. And that's what I have for you, pile 1. I hope that this was helpful in some way, and I will see you in your next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, pile 2. You chose mystery. So maybe there's something that you're trying to figure out that's been a mystery to you. And I'm getting the message that we are not here to figure that out, which is probably frustrating. And I'm laughing because I don't know. Maybe I've just been a little too close to that one myself. But let's see what the tarot has to say about your life right now in regards to this mystery. Well, okay. So we have a lot of swords here. So you have been thinking about this quite a bit. And maybe you've been going around in circles, and this is another reason why you chose this pile. We also have 2 knights. So this tells me that you've been really, really trying to push for movement, whether it's in regards to the mystery itself or what you think that mystery is. The High Priestess showing up as the first card also tells me that this is not something that you're meant to know specifics about. The High Priestess is the keeper of esoteric knowledge. Some people say hidden knowledge. Some people say sacred knowledge. So it's like frustrating even on my end of things because obviously I want to give you more clarity, but sometimes the cards are just going to stand on business and tell you exactly the way that it is, and they're not going to try to coddle you. So this also tells me that this probably has to do with something that you've tried to inquire in the past about. And maybe you've even gone to other tarot readings to inquire about that one thing. And maybe they did give you answers, but for some reason it didn't sit right, or it didn't resonate, or it felt wishy-washy, or after getting like 3 readings, you're like, they all say different things, so I don't even know what to believe anymore. And you're here seeking that once again, just to be told, stop. Like, don't do that. Because you're going to keep going in circles and you're just going to drive yourself mad. And that's why we have so many swords here, because there's movement, but these knights are facing each other. Like, they're not going in one direction. So it's kind of like you're going in circles. And then we have the 3 of Swords, the heartbreak card, right? So it's like this disappointment of this frustration because you're not getting the answers that you're seeking. You're not getting any real answers because your intuition is telling you the answers you've gotten so far aren't it. Like, maybe they ring of some kind of truth. Maybe they're kind of possible, but they're not it. And the Knave of Swords, this is someone who's really ambitiously excited about trying to figure this thing out. So they have energy to burn. And that's why you've been able to try to figure it out as far as you have. It's not because you're meant to know. It's because you just have a lot of energy. But this is energy that would be better spent somewhere else. And then we have the Hermit at the end as like the sandwich, right? So in one bun, we have the High Priestess. The other bun, we have the Hermit. So it's like you have these 2 figures that are about knowledge, okay, that are about going into the deep of it. No surface level shit. And a lot of the times this becomes a spiritual journey whether it's an initiation into spiritual knowledge or it's an initiation into getting to know yourself on a deeper level or upgrading your self-knowledge. This is that type of like going into the spiritual scholarly type of energy. And in the middle is all of this like circling back and forth because you're trying to figure something out that can't be figured out via the mind only. It's very spiritual in nature. That's another reason why it's mysterious. And the only way you're going to get close to tapping into what this is by going through non-logical methods. I would say going into seeking spiritually and or going into like journaling, deep journaling, looking into yourself as a person, figuring out who you are in this world, in this place, maybe journaling about what it is that you actually want to do in life. Does having a purpose in this life resonate with you? If so, what is your purpose? And maybe you don't know what that is and that's your mystery. Then you have to really dig deep and journal. This requires a combination of many different things, and through that journey you will find what that mystery is, but is not something to like figure out via like a math equation or via brute force. This is something that is going to come when it comes, but you do have to basically commit to going into that journey to seek that knowledge, because right now it is hidden and it is going to remain a mystery if you keep trying to get at it via like this logic, very obvious human communication type of way. So this message is really short, and like I'm gonna just pull one more card to see if there's something else in like terms of advice, but I feel like this is your message. Let's see. Two of Cups, another cup card. Now the Two of Cups to a lot of readers is kind of like the real Lovers card, where it's like this union. It doesn't necessarily have to be of opposites. It could just be a union. And this tells me that this is you having to, like, once again, commit. It's like you're accepting this commitment. You're willing to come into union with this message and take that message and do something with it instead of discard it. Like maybe perhaps you've discarded other messages or other tarot readings because they either didn't tell you what you wanted to say or they weren't giving you actual advice or actionable items. So that's the actual action you have to take if you're trying to get out of this like energy. Because at the end of the day, it's still going to be a mystery for a while. So it's not like this is a quick solution by any means. So the only way to move through it, even though it's not going to be nowhere near as fast as you want to move, you won't be going in circles anymore. So that's the good news. But yeah, the only way to move through it is to acknowledge it, accept it, and then be committed to taking that path and finding out, discovering, a lot of self-discovery. A lot of self-discovery here. Okay, pile 2, that is your message for today, and I will see you in your next reading. Goodbye. Hello, pile 3. You chose the Oracle card, Breath. Maybe you've been feeling like you need to take a breath. Maybe you need a break. Maybe you've been trying to pursue something and it's been kind of suffocating and you just can't seem to get that deep breath. That would feel so good, and that would be kind of a relief in the middle of everything that's going on. King of Cups. Okay, but this is kind of like saying that in order for you to be able to take that breath, it's not about pausing and stopping everything that you're doing as much as allowing your own creativity to flow. And participating not in less things, but maybe in more things. And in more, as in more things that would not be at the top of the priority list for many of us. Like trying something new, trying a new hobby to see if you like it instead of doing something that you already know you like. It's kind of like stepping into something brand new. You want a breath of fresh air, but you haven't opened the window, perhaps. You haven't stepped outside. So the breaths that you're trying to take is within this atmosphere that air is still like stagnant in. So you're never going to fully feel that satisfaction of that full new breath because you're in the same place. So trying something new is really like coming hard in terms of the messaging here. And the Ace of Swords, like I said, trying something new. The Ace of Swords is like this new gift or this new opportunity. With the swords, we have the mental aspect of things, or communication, or even thoughts. Maybe just thinking about trying something out of the ordinary for you is going to allow you to start feeling a little bit of that fresh air coming in. And then we have the Five of Wands. This is not going to be something that comes super easily, because when we engage in something that's brand new to us, a lot of the times it's not without some kind of turbulence or struggle. But here I'm getting that it's kind of like difficult for you to even step out of where you're at to take that fresh air by trying something new, because it's not just you that's keeping you there. And I'm getting that this has a lot to do with the people around you, not in a bad way. These are people that actually care about you, but they've been maybe a little codependent, and this has made you feel that you have no choice, that you have to stay where you're at, or else everything's going to crumble. And that thought alone is enough to keep you from taking that deep breath that you really, really want and need. But with the Fool here, the Fool is telling us you still got to jump into something that you have no idea how to handle in order to get that fresh air. Like, the message keeps repeating itself at this point. And the Eight of Swords, this card is like you see right here, the horse is blindfolded, right? The art in this deck is just insane. I love it. I get like sucked into it every time I stare at it for too long. But this horse is blindfolded. He doesn't have blinders on. Totally different thing. He is completely blindfolded, so he has no idea where he's going. Which makes sense when you're like taking on this new endeavor, trying this new hobby, possibly this new hobby, right? You're going to feel like you have no idea what you're stepping into. You're going to feel like you're blindfolded. But this is a trick of the mind. It's not to say that you already know what you're going to do, but it's kind of like saying the trick of the mind here is to try to scare you into staying where you're at. And this right here, the Five of Cups, this is a card of focusing on the not so pleasant instead of seeking emotional fulfillment through what you already have that's good. So it's kind of like right here, we see this struggle between the mind and the emotions to try to do this. And it's like, you're going to fight me on this. I feel like when you're hearing this, you might fight on this. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing with a tarot message. I'm not here to try to push a message onto you if you're not ready to receive it, or if it's not even for you, right? I'm not going to try to act like, oh, if you're here, everything's meant for you. And like, I'm not that type of reader. I do think that some readings are going to empower you and others not so much. And if it is not your time to be empowered by that reading, that's okay. Leave it alone. Dump it. Throw it away. It's totally discardable. But the energy that I'm getting here is it's not easy. And you know it hasn't been easy. And if it would have been easy, then you would have already done the damn thing. And then feeling the way that you're feeling and feeling the pressure and the weight of these people that love you and that you love it makes it feel practically impossible to think about taking on a hobby, taking on this cute little painting class that I've always wanted to try. Like, that seems so stupid right now. It seems like, yeah, maybe in another lifetime, or maybe like in this many years or whatever, like I have real shit to figure out in my life, and you're telling me that I have to try this stupid thing. Like, hell no, that's the dumbest shit I've heard. Like, I don't want to hear this shit. Like, that's kind of how I've been feeling as I'm reading these cards. But also the message was coming in strong from the beginning. Like with the very first card, it's like stepping into this King of Cups energy is stepping into creativity to be explored in a way that it's never been explored before, because that's going to open new doors for you. And it's also going to open the capability of you to harness emotions in a way that's more helpful, as opposed to in a way that's a little more stressful, and that gets you in this loop of mind versus emotion, and you trying to fight the way that you're feeling with your mind by trying to, bargain with it with logic. The thing is that you can have the logic in your mind and you can understand it, and your emotions will not react to it because your emotional body knows something different than the story you're telling it logically. And I'm getting really hot right now and I'm starting to sweat. I don't know why I'm telling you that. Not like you care. Like, you're probably thinking that's freaking gross. And maybe that has to do with, feeling that the breath of fresh air is also like after you've had like a really like hot day, like you've been out in the sun, you've been working out or whatever, how good it would feel to have a nice iced drink, like a fresh cup of water. It would feel so amazing after you've been like sweating and exerting yourself. And that kind of goes back to the whole needing that breath of fresh air, that deep breath. You can't take the deep breath in stagnant air. You need to go outside of where you're at to be able to take that breath of fresh air. Okay, pile 3, that is your message. I hope that it helped you in some way. And if it didn't, like I said, you don't have to take any of this with you. Just leave it alone. Either way, I would love to see you in your next reading next week. Bye-bye.